If your child is between 2 and 3 years old and can name things like car, teddy, mummy, then the next step is action words. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 simple steps from names to first verbs to things like car go to short phrases like daddy running, using everyday routines. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Jane, and welcome to Dynamic Learning, a channel made by parents for parents. We've done the research, so you don't have to. This week we will be exploring the milestone uses action words alongside naming. This means that your child can use words to describe actions such as jump, eat, splash, alongside naming people and objects. We will accomplish this together by using 4 stepping stones. These are meant to help break down the how-to and support you and your child in an easy, natural, and very achievable way. No pressure, no drills, just helpful modeling through routines that you naturally practice. These stepping stones are Stepping Stone 1, names familiar people and objects. Stepping Stone 2, uses few action words. Stepping Stone 3, combines action and object. And lastly, Stepping Stone 4, uses action words in short sentences. So let's dive right in and see what this is going to look like. Essentially, what this milestone is about. It's about them noticing and describing events that are happening in their world. They're starting to use verbs to tell a story. This is the bridge from a single word to them building sentences and building their storytelling. As I already mentioned in a previous video, between the ages of 2 and 3, your child is going to go through a massive language explosion. Action words help to fuel this. They aid them in their storytelling abilities, which helps promote language. So let's get started and dive straight into Stepping Stone 1. Names familiar people and objects. Before your child can start combining names and actions, they need to have a solid foundation of understanding what names are first. And that's where this stepping stone comes in. It's all about noticing familiar people and objects within your child's world. Let's take a look at familiar people first. These are people that your child probably sees every day. Mummy, daddy, grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, their friends, your friends. And then familiar objects. These could be their favorite toys, their favorite ball, teddy, maybe they're absolutely obsessed with their umbrella. This is what we are looking out for, and this is what this stepping stone is all about. And this lays the foundation upon which everything is going to be built. So, what are we looking for here? Your child can say the names of people that they're familiar with, like mummy, daddy, grandma, maybe one of their friends. They can also name objects that they use regularly: teddy, ball, cup, car, etc. They might even have started pointing at pictures and naming the people that they see in those pictures. So, why does all of this matter? Action words can only make sense once your child knows the names of people and the things that are involved in the action, or otherwise in the story. If your child knows mummy, then they can easily learn mummy run, mummy cook, mummy hug. It's like they're building their vocabulary one block at a time before being able to stack them on top of each other, which then leads to them being able to tell you a story. For this stepping stone, I simply want you to practice naming familiar people and objects around you. Point to things and say their names out loud. Mummy, daddy, cup, teddy, and watch your child's face light up as they begin to recognize and repeat those words back to you. Do this during your normal routines, during your meal times, during your bath time, bedtime, story times, all the times. So let's walk through a few examples and see what this would look like in practice. Imagine you're at the park with your child and your child sees you and says, "Mummy," or looks at a bird and says, "Bird." These are the moments where the foundation is being laid. Once that naming is solid, combining action words is the next natural outcome. Once you feel confident enough that your child has mastered this stepping stone, it's now time to move on to the next. Just a quick reminder here, there's no set time to complete these stepping stones. You complete them at your child's own natural pace. Don't try to rush it, just work through it. You may feel that they've accomplished this one in a day. Others might take you a week, maybe even longer. There's no rush. They'll get there in the end. So that leads us on to stepping stone 2. Uses few action words. Now your child begins to discover action words. Verbs like jump, eat, drink. These are words that help them describe the actions of people and things. Your child might start using one or two during playtime or whilst they're observing something funny or something interesting that's happening. So, what are we looking out for here? Your child is starting to use a few action words to help describe what's going on, such as jump or run while they're playing, or maybe eat or drink whilst they're eating and drinking. Maybe they're asking for their water bottle. These words will come slowly and one at a time. Maybe they're not yet combining the words with names, but that's totally fine. These are the building blocks and they're going to get there with our help. So, why does all this matter? Action words help open up the world to your child. Instead of just naming things, your child can now describe what's happening, what people are doing, what animals are doing, what objects are doing. This moves them from snapshot vocabulary to just pointing, naming, and categorizing things to actual storytelling. So, for this stepping stone, I simply want you to practice spotting and using action words during play and everyday routines. When you're with your child and you're about to start eating, say bite or chew. When you're playing together, say jump, run, spin. Keep it simple, one word at a time, and watch as your child slowly starts to repeat these words themselves during moments of play or during meal times. So, how would this look like in practice? Say you're playing cars with your child. Your child's are on the floor and they've got their car and they start rolling it back and forth. And they say, car, go, 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 go. Or you're having lunch with your child and then they start saying, eat and bite when they're ready to dig in. These single action words are the beginning of expression. Once you feel confident that you and your child have mastered this stepping stone, it's time to move on to the next one, which is stepping stone 3, combines action and object. So this is what we've been waiting for. This is where the magic really starts to happen. Your child is taking those names and those action verbs and is putting them together. They may be saying things like doggy run, teddy sleep, cargo. They might even use their own name and say me run, me go. This is a huge leap forward in their language development. Combining the noun and the action word is a key stage of expressive language. So, what do we need to look out for here? Your child is combining the name of something and the action. They're saying things like mummy sit, teddy sleep. They might even say car go, doggy bark while they're playing, or they might be even describing what they're seeing in a book or in a picture. The order may still vary, so rather than consistently say doggy run, it might be run doggy, but both are wonderful and both are what we're looking for. So why does all this matter? When your child combines a noun with an action word, they're beginning to make meaning out of multiple parts of language. They're no longer just describing things in isolation. They're creating mini sentences, which are the foundation blocks for more complex language, which is yet to come. During this stepping stone, I want you to practice creating action plus object combinations during your everyday routines. During meal times, I want you to say things like bite toast, bite pasta, bite chicken, and same thing with whatever it is that they're drinking. Drink water, drink juice, or be even more specific. Drink apple juice, drink orange juice. You're modeling how two words can work together and how to describe what's going on. These two word combinations are so powerful. They're powerful evidence that your child understands how language works to describe the world around them, and furthermore, storytelling. Once you're confident that your child has mastered this stepping stone, it's time to move on to the next. This leads us into our final stepping stone. Stepping stone 4 uses action words in short sentences. Your child's language is slowly starting to become more sophisticated. They're now using action words in slightly longer phrases. It's more than just run or eat. So you might get things like boy is running or the cat is sleeping. These short sentences show that your child is beginning to understand grammar and how language is built. So, what do we need to look out for here? Your child is using action words in short sentences and slightly longer phrases. They may say things like mummy running, or they may be looking at a book and saying bird flying. It doesn't have to be grammatically perfect at this point. The important thing is that they are doing it and they are combining the action words and they are using these words to build meaning. So, why does all this matter? As your child adds more and more words to their vocabulary, they're also acquiring more action words to help describe the world around them. They're starting to show deeper understanding of how language works. They're moving from simple naming of things to more complex descriptions and communication. For this stepping stone, I simply want you to practice modeling slightly longer action word phrases. When you see something happening, describe it in a short sentence, such as Teddy is sleeping, the car is moving, the cat is sleeping. Your child may not immediately repeat the whole thing. They may still only take a few snippets from it, and that's completely fine. What you're doing here is you're planting the seeds of language and you're showing them how longer sentences work. So let's have a little fun with this. Imagine your child is trying out a new action word for the first time. The expression on their face, that concentration, the pride you can see them feel when they nail it. Here's the thing though, it doesn't always come out that way. Your toddler may say brun instead of run, or bunny run, or dink instead of drink. And you know what? That's absolutely perfect. That sound, that attempt, that effort, that's how language grows. And your job isn't to correct it. Your job is simply to enjoy it. So there you have it, your complete map of action words. From naming familiar people and objects, through to learning those first few action words, combining them together, and finally using them in short sentences. These are the 4 stepping stones to give you a clear path to follow. Remember, every child moves at their own pace. Some children may rush through these stepping stones, and others may take longer and linger on one or two, slightly longer than others. Both are completely fine and normal. Action words will become part of your child's language, whether you're teaching them to or not. If you're struggling with any deeper language concerns, consider speaking to a speech and language professional. If you're unsure about where to find that help, a good place to start would be contacting your GP or otherwise seeking help at your nearest children's centre. Let me know how you got on in the comments below. What was your experience? Were the stepping stones too hard? Were they very easy and achievable? What little trip-ups did your child have? Leave them all in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye!